All right, it's round 4 showdown. Thank God we're getting a full round in. It's going to be a normal day. They're going off in 2s off of 1, the way that Sunday showdown should be. As you can see, I think the first thing to notice is, look, I don't think there's a huge tee time advantage tomorrow. The guys in the orange just mean that they're going to have the course at the easiest, but they're also, all in dead fucking last. Because if you don't know, the guys that get to go off first tomorrow are the guys who are the furthest back, okay? So, as I said, you got to go watch the Showdown Hoedown, man. I don't want to repeat everything on here that I do on there, but here's basically it. If you're going to play those guys down at the bottom, I think that you kind of want to set a rule in your lineups that you don't go play too many of those punts. I think maybe one of those guys, hope you go hit the nuts with Victor Perez early, or hope that you hit the nuts with Patrick Rogers early. But, if you start putting 2-3 of those guys in your lineup, you're asking a lot from guys who can very easily just fucking give up, like James Hahn did today, right? Like, you could just tell by hole 6, well, this fucker's done. So I think that's a good rule. The other rule I would remember is I think that you want to probably have your lineup consist of at least 2 guys starting in the top 10. Okay, because you don't want to give up that win equity. And there's a lot of guys tomorrow that can really go win this tournament. I mean, it's like, what is that? 15 guys that are within 4 shots of the lead? That's insane. So I would be making sure every lineup contains at least 2 of those, right? So maybe you make a rule that everybody who's T10 or higher, you go make a pool of 5 or 6 guys, and then of that 5 or 6, you make a rule that the lineup must contain 2 or 3 or whatever your number is. Back over to the stone. We got everything that's still the same. We got pivots that are just lower owned options off of the more higher owned options. We have guys that are high leverage plays, which just means that they're going to show up in the optimal lineup more than they will be owned. And then, of course, we have sleepers, as always. I don't know of any injury watches. We got our cash plays. If you want to play some cash, the cash plays tend to be a little bit more conservative. I'm a little bit more risky with it than others. But, that was a travel. Oh, that was a travel. Okay, sorry, I'm watching NCAA. I still got all my Elite 8 left. Do you? Okay, especially if Kansas might lose here. Roar. Okay. And then we have our high upside guys, which just means they hit their high upside. They hit ceiling rounds more frequently than just a simple GPP play does. We have our ownership buckets. As you can see, I have 4 guys that I think will get over 30%. A good amount of guys will be in that 15 to 30 range. We got our tee times, event scores. We have the or they could guys. A lot of or they could guys after today, right? A lot of guys like, he did terrible, dude. Never play him. Or he could. All right, not as many watch out guys. A lot of the watch out guys are like these cheap pieces that I think people are just going to want to go play. Not for me, Bob. Oh, and by the way, I did mark some watch out guys from guys who just fucking quit today. Ryan Brim, Trevor Cohn, James Hahn. You got to be careful with those guys because even though they're not coming off great rounds, they still kind of have a little bit of, could just fucking quit. We got our win equity. I think that's an important number to consider. It's pretty dispersed for what we normally see. It's because there's so many guys that could still win this tournament. So I think you're going to want to factor in win equity when making your lineups. Top 5 equity is nice because if you can get 3 guys, especially guys that have good rounds and move up to the top 5, that's a big deal. Let's see. From there, you know how I feel about approach. I love this good approach. If you don't understand true approach and true approach delta, I explained all that yesterday. Don't want to do it again. Of course, we have our short game regression, which is how well they're bouncing. Likely they are to bounce back from short game, good or bad. Bad round regression, how likely they are to have a good round based on what they did the round before, and then their historical round 4. We'll have projections up later, so that I guess we can call this the rough draft. But projections take longer to make, so we'll get those up later. They will be over on they'll be on here, and they'll be on the solver. So there you go, fellers. I think that's it. And ladies. Fellers and ladies. Sorry, ladies. I think that's it. Let's go have some fun tomorrow. Sorry, the contest sucked. DraftKings, they take a lot of pride in being ball suck. You gotta give them credit. Some people have dreams, and when they achieve their dreams, you just gotta just tip the cap to them. All right. Good luck, guys and girls.